The alien princess sat in the corner of her cell, her back pressed against the cold metal wall. Her armor, once beautiful and gleaming, now showed cracks and dark spots where the biosystems were failing. Princess Valara had been in this human prison for 3 days, and each day her armor worked a little less. Hyunwoo walked down the corridor carrying his toolkit. He was not a soldier like the others in this place. He was just an engineer who fixed things. The military hired him because he was good with alien technology. But today, something bothered him as he passed the prisoner's cell. The alien girl looked sick. Her breathing seemed hard and her skin had a gray color that did not look healthy. Hyunwoo stopped walking and looked closer. Her armor was the problem. The biosystems that kept her alive were breaking down. "Hey!" Hyunwoo called to the guard. "Something's wrong with the prisoner." The guard looked bored. "So what? She's an alien. Who cares?" "Her life support is failing," Hyunwoo said. "If that armor stops working completely, she might die." "Good," the guard said. "One less enemy to worry about." Hyunwoo stared at the man. He had seen too much death during his time as a soldier. He left the military because he was tired of watching people die. Now he fixed things instead of breaking them. But here was someone who might die and nobody seemed to care. He walked away to find Commander Taemin. The commander was a hard man who followed rules, but he was not cruel without reason. Hyunwoo found him in his office looking at reports. On his computer, "Commander, I need to talk to you about the alien prisoner." Commander Taemin looked up. "What about her?" "Her armor is failing. The biosystems that keep her alive are breaking down. She needs help." "She's an enemy combatant," the commander said. "We're not required to—" "She's also our only source of information about Catherian technology," Hyunwoo interrupted. "If she dies, we lose everything. And if her people find out we let her die from medical neglect, it could make the war worse." The commander thought for a moment. He did not like Hyunwoo's tone, but the engineer made good points. "What do you suggest?" "Let me examine her armor. I might be able to fix some of the problems, keep her alive and maybe learn something useful." "Fine," Commander Taemin said, "but you work under guard supervision, and if she tries anything, it's on you." An hour later, Hyunwoo stood outside the energy barrier that kept Princess Valara in her cell. Dr. So-young, the team's alien biology expert, stood next to him with a medical scanner. "The scans show her body temperature is dropping," Dr. So-young said. "Her armor regulates heat, among other things. If it fails completely, she could die within hours." Princess Valara looked up at them with large, dark eyes. She had been watching the humans talk, trying to understand their language. She knew some human words, but not many. "Hello," Hyunwoo said slowly. "I am Hyunwoo. I want to help fix your armor." The princess tilted her head. "Fix?" she said in broken human speech. "Yes, fix, repair, make it work better." Hyunwoo pointed at her armor. She looked suspicious. In her world, nobody helped enemies. If humans wanted to fix her armor, they must want something in return. But she was dying slowly and she knew it. "Why?" she asked. It was a simple question, but Hyunwoo had to think about his answer. Why did he want to help? Because it was the right thing to do? Because she was young and scared? Because her armor was a fascinating piece of technology? All of these reasons were true, but he chose the simplest answer. "Because you need help," he said. The energy barrier flickered off. 2 guards stepped forward with weapons ready. Hyunwoo walked slowly into the cell, carrying only his scanner and some basic tools. Princess Valara pressed herself against the wall as he approached. Up close he could see she was very young, maybe not even an adult by her species standards. Her armor was more than just protection, it was art. The biometal had been grown in patterns that looked like flowing water. Even damaged, it was beautiful. "This is amazing work," Hyunwoo said, more to himself than to her. "How do the neural links connect to the biosystems?" The princess watched him examine her armor with professional interest. He was not looking at her like she was dangerous or valuable. He was looking at her armor the way a craftsman looks at another craftsman's work. with respect and curiosity. "You understand armor?" she asked in her limited human speech. "Some. I understand machines, life support systems. I think your armor is both machine and living thing, yes?" She nodded. For the first time in days, someone was talking to her about something other than military secrets or ransom demands. Hyunwoo spent the next hour carefully scanning each piece of her armor. He found 17 different problems, from microfractures in the biometal to blocked nutrient channels. Some he could fix with his tools. Others would need special materials. "I can help some problems now," he told her. "Other problems need time and better tools. But I can make it work better." Princess Valara looked into his eyes. In her culture, eye contact between strangers was considered rude. But human customs were different, and she had learned that humans showed honesty by looking directly at each other. "You really want to help?" she said. It was not a question. "Yes. Even though I am your enemy?" Hyunwoo considered this. "You are sitting in a cell with broken armor. Right now you are not my enemy. You are just someone who needs help." For the first time since her capture, Princess Valara felt something other than fear or anger. She felt confused. In her world, people were either useful or not useful, either valuable or worthless, either friends or enemies. This human seemed to see her as something she had never been before, just a person who needed help. She nodded, slowly. "You may fix my armor." As Hyunwoo worked, he explained what he was doing. He showed her how human tools worked and asked questions about Catherian technology. The princess found herself answering, drawn in by his genuine curiosity and respectful manner. By the end of the day, her armor was working better than it had since her capture. Her skin had returned to its normal pale blue color, and her breathing was easier. But more than that, something had changed between them. For the first time in her life, someone had helped her without expecting anything in return. That night, as Princess Valara lay on her cell's simple bed, she thought about the human engineer. Tomorrow, he would return to continue working on her armor. She found herself looking forward to it, not just because she needed the repairs, but because she wanted to understand more about this strange human who treated her like she mattered. Hyunwoo returned the next morning with more tools and a young technician named Boram. The technician was nervous about working so close to an alien, but Hyunwoo had requested help with the more complex repairs. "She won't hurt you," Hyunwoo told Boram as they approached the cell. "She's more afraid of us than we are of her." Princess Valara was sitting up when they arrived, looking much better than the day before. Her armor's basic systems were working again, and she had spent the night thinking about their strange conversation. "Good morning," Hyunwoo said as the energy barrier went down. "How do you feel?" "Better," she replied in careful human words. "The armor, it works better now." "Good. Today we work on the more difficult problems. This is Boram. She will help me." Boram gave a small wave, still nervous. The alien princess was smaller than she had expected, and younger looking. She had thought aliens would be more frightening. As they worked, Hyunwoo continued his habit of explaining what he was doing. "This part controls temperature regulation," he said, pointing to a section of biometal near her shoulder. "I think the microchannels are blocked. In human armor, we would flush the system with cleaning fluid. But your armor is alive, so we need to be more careful." "Yes," Princess Valara said, becoming more animated. "The biometal must be treated gently. Too much pressure and it will scar. Scars block the flow paths. How do your people usually maintain this?" Boram asked, her curiosity overcoming her nervousness. The princess looked sad for a moment. "Servants do it. Special servants who learn only this work. They maintain the royal armor from childhood." "You never learned to maintain your own armor?" Hyunwoo asked. "Princesses do not do such work," she said, but her tone suggested she had always wished she could. "Would you like to learn?" Hyunwoo offered. "I could show you how to do basic maintenance." Princess Valara stared at him in surprise. In her culture, offering to teach royal skills to royalty was unheard of. Royalty was supposed to already know everything important, or have servants who knew it for them. You would teach me? Why not? It's your armor. You should know how it works. Over the next few hours, Hyunwoo taught both Boram and Princess Valara about biomechanical systems. The princess was a fast learner and asked intelligent questions. Boram found herself relaxing as she realized the alien was just another person interested in learning about technology. In my world, Princess Valara said during a break, knowledge is power. People guard their knowledge carefully. They share it only for payment or favors. Some humans are like that too, Hyunwoo admitted, but I think knowledge grows when you share it. If I teach you something, I still know it. But now you know it too. We both have more than before. This idea fascinated the princess. In the Catherian Empire, knowledge was treated like gold, something valuable that decreased when divided. But Hyunwoo spoke of knowledge like sunlight, something that could warm many people without becoming less warm. Tell me about your world, she said suddenly. Hyunwoo and Boram exchanged glances. They were not supposed to share information about human society with the prisoner, but she was asking about everyday life, not military secrets. What do you want to know? Hyunwoo asked carefully. Do all humans learn to fix things? Some do. People choose their work based on what they like and what they're good at. I liked working with machines even when I was young. You chose? Your family did not choose for you? No. My parents wanted me to be happy and successful. But the choice was mine. Princess Valara found this concept almost impossible to understand. She had been told from birth exactly what her life would be, trained for diplomacy and politics, betrothed to strengthen alliances, expected to produce royal children to continue the bloodline. What about you, Boram? The princess asked. Did you choose this work too? Yes, Boram said. I studied engineering at university. I wanted to work with new technology. When the military offered me a job working with alien systems, I thought it sounded exciting. You are both happy with your choices? Most days, Hyunwoo said. Some days are harder than others. But yes, I like fixing things. I like solving problems. And I like learning about new technology. As the afternoon went on, Princess Valara shared more about her own life. She spoke of endless lessons in protocol and politics, of never being allowed to make friends with anyone who was not useful to the empire, of always being watched and judged. It sounds lonely, Boram said quietly. I did not know it was lonely until now, the princess admitted. I thought that was how life was, supposed to be. What changed? Hyunwoo asked. Princess Valara looked at both of them. These humans who had spent the day teaching her, talking with her, treating her like a person instead of a title. You, she said simply. Yesterday you asked nothing from me except to let you help. Today you teach me skills that my own servants never shared. You talk to me like I am a person who might have interesting things to say. You are a person who has interesting things to say, Boram said. Your insights about biomechanical systems are helping us understand your technology better. But more than that, Hyunwoo added, you are a person. Whether you are a princess or a prisoner or an engineer or anything else, first, you are a person. That matters. As they packed up their tools for the day, Captain Jinnah arrived for her security check. She had been Hyunwoo's squad leader during his military service and she knew him well. How is the work going? She asked. Very well, Hyunwoo replied. The armor should be fully functional by tomorrow. Good. Command is pleased with the technical data you're gathering. She looked at Princess Valara, who was examining a small tool Hyunwoo had let her borrow for practice. She seems cooperative. She's been very helpful, Boram said. She knows a lot about biomechanical engineering. Captain Jinnah nodded and left with the guards. As the energy barrier came back up, Princess Valara stood near it to continue their conversation. Captain Jinnah was your military leader? She asked Hyunwoo. Yes, a good leader. She kept us alive through some difficult times. Why did you leave the military? Hyunwoo was quiet for a moment. I saw too many people die. I decided I wanted to spend my time fixing things instead of breaking them. And now you fix armor for your enemy. Now I fix armor for someone who needs help, Hyunwoo corrected gently. Princess Valara smiled, the first real smile she had given since her capture. You are a strange human, Hyunwoo. Thank you, he said, smiling back. I will take that as a compliment. That evening, as Princess Valara lay in her cell, she thought about the day. She had learned practical skills, engaged in real conversation, and been treated with genuine respect. For the first time in her life, she had spent time with people who seemed to value her thoughts and opinions rather than just her bloodline and political connections. Tomorrow, Hyunwoo would return to finish the repairs. But she realized she would miss these conversations when her armor was fixed and she no longer needed daily visits. She had never experienced friendship before, but she thought this might be what it felt like. By the fifth day, Princess Valara's armor was working perfectly. Better than perfectly, actually. Hyunwoo had made small improvements to the efficiency of several systems. But he continued to visit each morning, now bringing equipment to scan and document the technology for human records. You do not need to come every day now, Princess Valara said as he set up his scanning equipment. My armor works well. The visits serve multiple purposes, Hyunwoo replied. Command wants detailed technical documentation, and... He paused, looking slightly embarrassed. I enjoy our conversations. This admission surprised the princess. In her world, people endured conversations for political necessity. The idea that someone might actually enjoy talking with her for no other reason was new. I enjoy them too, she said quietly. That morning, Ambassador Yoonji arrived at the facility. She was a diplomat who specialized in first contact situations, and she had come to assess the possibility of prisoner exchange negotiations. Commander Tae-min brought her to observe the repair sessions. Remarkable, Ambassador Yoonji said, watching through the observation window as Hyunwoo and Princess Yu Valara discussed biometal crystal growth patterns. She's been completely cooperative? More than cooperative, Commander Tae-min replied. She's been actively helpful. The technical data we're gathering will advance our understanding of their technology by years. And our engineer, Hyunwoo, has exceeded expectations. His approach has been unconventional but effective. Inside the cell, Princess Valara was asking Hyunwoo about human manufacturing processes. Your tools are made from metal that is dead, yes? How do you make them? So precise without growth patterns to guide the shaping. We use mathematics and engineering principles to design exact specifications, Hyunwoo explained. Then machines cut and shape the metal according to those plans. But how do you know the metal will behave correctly if it has no consciousness to guide it? Metal follows physical laws. If we understand those laws and apply them correctly, we can predict how the metal will behave. This concept fascinated Princess Valara. Cytherian technology relied on biosystems that could adapt and think. Human technology relied on understanding and controlling non-living systems through scientific principles. Your people must be very good at mathematics, she said. Some are. Mathematics is a tool, like a wrench or a scanner. Some people are naturally good with it. Others learn through study and practice. Could I learn human mathematics? I think you could learn anything you wanted to learn, Hyunwoo said. You have a good mind for understanding how systems work. Princess Valara looked away, her expression becoming sad. It does not matter. When I return to my people, I will go back to my old life. Royal duties, political marriages. I will not use these skills. Why not? Because that is not what princesses do. Hyunwoo set down his scanner and looked at her directly. What if you could choose what to do with your life? What would you choose? The question was so foreign to her experience that she had to think for several minutes. Finally, she said, I think I would like to build things, to design new biosystems that help people, to solve problems that make life better. Those are good goals. But impossible goals. Maybe not as impossible as you think. That afternoon, a priority message arrived from Cytherian space. War Prince Zareth, Princess Valara's older brother, was demanding her immediate return. The message was broadcast on all frequencies so the humans could not ignore it. "Sister," his voice echoed through the communication room translated by computer systems. "We know the humans hold you prisoner. We demand your return within 7 days, or we will consider it an act of war requiring military response." Commander Taimin called an emergency meeting with Ambassador Yunji and his senior staff. Hyunwoo was included because of his unique relationship with the prisoner. "The situation is clear," Commander Taimin said. "We need to arrange a prisoner exchange quickly, or face escalated military action." "What about Princess Valara?" Hyunwoo asked. "What does she want?" "What she wants is irrelevant," Commander Taimin replied. "She's a prisoner of war, not a refugee requesting asylum." Ambassador Yunji looked thoughtful. "Actually, her preferences could be relevant. If she requests asylum or expresses fear of returning to her people, it could complicate the legal situation." "Has she expressed any such concerns to you?" "Commander," Taimin asked Hyunwoo. Hyunwoo thought carefully about his answer. Princess Valara had shared many personal feelings with him, but in the context of friendly conversation, not formal statements about asylum. "She has expressed frustration with some aspects of her life among her people," he said carefully. "But she has never specifically requested asylum or indicated fear of return." Later that day, Hyunwoo visited Princess Valara for what might be their last conversation. She had heard her brother's message. All prisoners were informed when communications arrived concerning them. "So I will go home soon," she said, but her tone was flat, without happiness. "How do you feel about that?" She was quiet for a long time. "Scared," she finally admitted. "When I was captured during the reconnaissance mission, it was the first time I had ever acted on my own initiative. The first time I had made a choice about my own life. Now I will return to a world where all my choices are made for me. It doesn't have to be that way. For a princess of the Catherian Empire, it does. What if you weren't a princess of the Catherian Empire? What if you were just Valara, a person who is good at engineering and likes to learn new things? That is a beautiful dream, Hyunwoo. But it is only a dream." They sat in comfortable silence for a while, both thinking about the conversation. Finally, Princess Valara asked the question that had been growing in her mind for days. "Why do you treat me like I matter?" Hyunwoo looked surprised by the question. "Because you do matter. But I am your enemy. I am a prisoner. I am valuable only for what information I might provide, or what political advantage my return might bring." "No," Hyunwoo said firmly. "You matter because you are you. Not because you are a princess or a prisoner or a source of information. You matter because you are a person with thoughts and feelings and dreams. You matter because you ask good questions and have interesting ideas. You matter because when you smile it makes the day a little brighter. You matter because you exist, and every person who exists matters." Princess Valara stared at him, her large dark eyes wide with amazement. In her entire life, no one had ever told her she mattered for simply being herself. "In my world," she whispered, "people matter only for what they can provide. Utility, advantage, political value. Then your world is missing something important," Hyunwoo said, "because the most valuable thing about any person is not what they can do for others. It is who they are inside." "I wish I could live in your world," she said quietly. "Maybe someday." "You can," Hyunwoo replied. "Maybe not the human world exactly, but a world where you can choose who to be." That night, Princess Valara lay awake thinking about Hyunwoo's words. For the first time in her life, someone had told her she mattered, just for being herself. The idea was so revolutionary that it challenged everything she had been taught about life, duty, and purpose. Tomorrow, the prisoner exchange would begin to be arranged. Soon, she would return to her people and her old life. But something had changed inside her during these conversations with a human engineer who fixed things instead of breaking them. Something that could not be unchanged, no matter what world she lived in. She had learned what it felt like to be valued as a person. And now that she knew, she could never go back to feeling like just a political tool. The prisoner exchange was arranged to take place on Waystation 7, a neutral trading post between human and Catherian space. General Dong Hyun would lead the human delegation, while Fleet Commander Kyrix would represent the Catherian Empire. 3. Days before departure, Princess Valara made an unexpected request. She asked to speak with Commander Taemin directly. "I want the engineer Hyunwoo to accompany me to the exchange," she told him through the energy barrier. "That's not standard procedure," Commander Taemin replied. "Why do you want him there?" "My armor has been modified with human techniques. If there are technical questions about the modifications, he can answer them. This will prevent misunderstandings that could cause problems." It was a reasonable request, though Commander Taemin suspected there were personal reasons as well. After consulting with General Dong Hyun, he agreed. Hyunwoo would attend as a technical advisor. "Are you sure about this?" Hyunwoo asked Princess Valara during their final repair session. "Once you're back with your people, things will change." "I know," she said quietly. "But I want you there. You are the only person who has ever treated me like I matter. When I face my family and my people, I want to remember that feeling. You will always matter, Valara, no matter what anyone else says or does." She smiled at his use of her name without the title. "I will remember that." The journey to Waystation 7 took 2 days. Princess Valara traveled in a secure transport with human guards while Hyunwoo and the diplomatic team took a separate ship. During the journey, Hyunwoo found himself worrying about what would happen to her. Ambassador Yoon-ji noticed his concern. "You've become attached to the prisoner," she observed. "She's not just a prisoner," Hyunwoo replied. "She's a person who has been treated badly by circumstances. She deserves better." "Many people deserve better than what they get, Ambassador Wa," Yoon-ji said. "That's the nature of the universe." "Maybe, but that doesn't mean we should stop trying to do better when we have the chance." Waystation 7 was a massive structure built into an asteroid, with docking bays for ships from many different species. The human delegation arrived first and was escorted to a conference room in the neutral section of the station. An hour later, the Catherian ships arrived. Fleet Commander Kyrix was an imposing figure, taller than Princess Valara, with armor that looked like it was made of living silver. War Prince Zareth accompanied him, and Hyunwoo could see the family resemblance to Princess Valara, though the brother's expression was much harder. "Where is my sister?" War Prince Zareth demanded as soon as he entered the room. "She is safe and well," General Dong Hyun replied. "She will be brought here once we confirm the terms of exchange." "Terms?" "She is a princess of the Catherian Empire. There are no terms except her immediate return." "There are always terms," Fleet Commander Kyrix said, cutting off the younger prince's protest. "What do you want in exchange?" 3 human prisoners currently held by your empire, plus technical specifications for your biometal armor systems." "Impossible," War Prince Zareth said. "We do not trade military secrets." "Then you do not get your princess back," General Dong Hyun replied calmly. The negotiations continued for 2 hours, with each side making demands and counter-offers. Hyunwoo sat quietly in the corner, officially present as a technical advisor, but really just observing the political maneuvering. Finally, Fleet Commander Kyrix asked, "What is the condition of the princess? Has she been harmed?" "She has been treated according to the conventions of war," General Dong Hyun replied. "Our technical specialist can provide details about her physical condition." All eyes turned to Hyunwoo. He stood and addressed the Catherian leaders directly. "Princess E, Valara is in excellent health. Her armor was damaged during capture, but we repaired and improved several systems. She has been cooperative and helpful throughout her stay." "Improved?" War Prince Zareth looked suspicious. "What kind of improvements?" "Efficiency enhancements to the thermal regulation and nutrient distribution systems. The modifications increase performance by approximately 12%. Fleet Commander Kyrix looked interested despite himself. "You were able to improve Catherian biotechnology?" The princess was very knowledgeable about her armor systems. She helped guide the modifications. It was a collaborative effort. My sister helped you modify royal armor? War Prince Zareth looked shocked. That is impossible. She has no technical training. She learned quickly, Hyunwoo said. She has excellent instincts for biomechanical systems. This exchange worried Hyunwoo. War Prince Zareth seemed more concerned about his sister's behavior than her well-being. What would happen to her when she returned home? After another hour of negotiation, they reached an agreement. The humans would return Princess Valara and provide technical documentation about their repair methods. The Catherians would return 2 human prisoners and share basic information about biometal cultivation techniques. Bring the princess, Fleet Commander Kyrix ordered. Princess Valara entered the room escorted by 2 human guards. She had been given new clothing for the exchange, formal robes that marked her royal status. But she walked differently than she had when first captured. Her posture was more confident, her eyes more alert. Sister, War Prince Zareth said formally, you are well? I am well, brother, she replied, but her tone was cooler than Hyunwoo had expected. Your armor has been modified by these humans, Fleet Commander Kyrix observed, scanning her with a handheld device. The biosignatures are different. The modifications improve performance significantly, Princess Valara said. The human engineer Hyunwoo is very skilled. War Prince Zareth frowned. You seem different. I have learned much during my captivity, she replied carefully. The formal exchange proceeded according to protocol. Documents were signed, prisoner. Transfers were authorized and the Catherian delegation prepared to depart with Princess Valara. But as they reached the corridor leading to the Catherian ships, Princess Valara stopped walking. I want to speak with Engineer Hyunwoo privately before I leave, she announced. That is not necessary, War Prince Zareth said firmly. We are leaving now. I am still a princess of the Catherian Empire, she replied, her voice carrying new authority. I may speak with whom I choose. Fleet Commander Kyrix looked between the siblings, sensing tension he did not fully understand. 5 minutes, he decided. Then we depart. Princess Valara and Hyunwoo stepped into a small side room. The moment they were alone, her composure cracked slightly. I am frightened, she admitted. My brother suspects I have changed. If they discover how much I have changed, there could be consequences. What kind of consequences? Re-education, confinement, forced marriage to ensure loyalty to the Empire. She looked directly into his eyes. Or worse. Valara, if you are afraid to go back, you could request asylum. The humans would— No, she interrupted. If I defect, it could mean war between our peoples. I cannot be responsible for that. Then, what will you do? I will go home. I will be the princess they expect me to be. But inside, I will remember what you taught me. I will remember that I matter as a person, not just as a title. And maybe someday I can use that knowledge to help others. You are braver than you know, Hyunwoo said. You taught me to be brave. You showed me what it means to be valued for who I am. They embraced briefly, a gesture that would have been unthinkable when she first arrived as a prisoner. Thank you, she whispered, for everything. Thank you for letting me help, Hyunwoo replied, and for showing me that even in the darkest circumstances, people can choose to be kind to each other. They returned to the corridor where both delegations waited. Princess Valara had composed herself again, looking every inch the royal princess. But as she walked toward the Catherian ships, she carried with her something that had not been there before. The knowledge that she was valued as a person, not just as a political asset. Hyunwoo watched her leave, hoping that knowledge would be enough to sustain her in whatever challenges lay ahead. 6 months after the prisoner exchange, Hyunwoo was working in his lab when Captain Jinnah brought him unexpected news. We've received a diplomatic message from the Catherian Empire, she said, holding a data tablet. They're proposing a joint technical cooperation project, and they specifically requested you as the human project leader. Hyunwoo looked up from the biometal sample he had been studying. They requested me? By name? The message came through. Princess Valara, She's apparently been appointed as the Catherian representative for interspecies technical cooperation. That's unexpected, Hyunwoo said, though he felt a surge of hope. If Valara had been given such a role, it suggested she had found a way to use her changed perspective within her own culture. 3 weeks later, Hyunwoo found himself back on Way Station 7, this time for a very different kind of meeting. He arrived early and was reviewing technical specifications when the Catherian delegation entered the conference room. Princess Valara looked different. She still wore royal armor, but it had been modified in subtle ways that made it more functional and less ceremonial. Her posture was confident, and her eyes held a determination that had not been there during her captivity. "Engineer Hyunwoo," she said formally, then smiled. "It is good to see you again." "Princess Valara," he replied, standing and bowing slightly. "Congratulations on your new appointment." "Thank you. I have worked hard to earn this position." As the formal meetings began, Hyunwoo learned about the changes that had occurred in the Catherian Empire over the past 6 months. Princess Valara had returned home and initially faced suspicion about her time as a prisoner, but instead of trying to hide her experiences, she had used them. "I told the Imperial Council that my captivity had given me unique insights into human technology and thinking," she explained during a break. "I argued that understanding our enemies would make us stronger." "And they believed you?" "Eventually. When I demonstrated the armor modifications you had taught me, they became interested. When I proposed joint projects that could benefit both our peoples, they began to listen." "What kind of joint projects?" "Medical biotechnology, agricultural, systems, environmental engineering. Areas where cooperation could help both humans and Catherians without compromising military security." Dr. Jun-ho, the human negotiation specialist, joined their conversation. "The proposals are impressive," he told Hyunwoo. "If successful, these projects could establish a framework for long-term peaceful cooperation." Over the following days, they worked out the details of the first joint project, a biomedical system that could help treat injuries for both species. Hyunwoo and Princess Valara found themselves working together naturally, their different approaches to problem-solving, complementing each other perfectly. "You have changed," Hyunwoo observed one evening as they reviewed technical specifications. "Yes," she agreed. "When I returned home, I realized I could not go back to being the person I was before. The experience of being valued for myself, rather, than my title had changed something fundamental inside me. Was it difficult? Very difficult. I had to be careful not to challenge traditions too directly. Instead, I found ways to use my royal status to create opportunities for change. Such as, I requested permission to study bioengineering formally, arguing that technical knowledge would make me a more valuable diplomatic asset. I volunteered for assignments that involved problem-solving rather than just ceremony. I asked questions that made people think about why we do things the way we do them. And your family accepted these changes." Princess Valara laughed softly. "My mother, Empress Xylara, is very practical. When she saw that my new approaches were producing useful results, she supported them. My brother took longer to accept the changes, but even he admits that the cooperation projects could bring significant benefits to our empire. What about your people in general?" "That is the most interesting part," she said, her eyes brightening. "When I began treating servants and technicians with the same respect you showed me, asking their opinions, listening to their ideas, acknowledging their expertise, their work improved dramatically. Other nobles noticed and began asking how I achieved such good results. So you're teaching them what you learned from humans? I'm teaching them what you taught me. That every person has value beyond their assigned role. That treating people with dignity and respect makes them want to contribute their best efforts." As the project meetings continued, Hyunwoo saw evidence of these changes in how Princess Valara interacted with her own staff. She listened carefully to technicians' suggestions, thanked people for their contributions, and made decisions based on merit rather than hierarchy. On the final day of negotiations, They signed agreements for 3 joint projects with plans to expand cooperation if the initial efforts succeeded. As the formal ceremonies concluded, Princess Valara approached Hyunwoo privately. "I wanted to thank you again," she said, "not just for repairing my armor, but for showing me what it means to be valued as a person." "You did that yourself," Hyunwoo replied. "I just helped you see it. The changes I have made in my world, they are small compared to what needs to be done. But they are a beginning. Sometimes a beginning is the most important part. I hope so. I hope that someday, young Cytherians will grow up knowing they are valued for who they are, not just what they can provide to others." "I think they will," Hyunwoo said. Change often starts with one person who decides to see the world differently. 6 months later, the first joint biomedical project was completed successfully. The cooperation had worked so well that both governments approved expanded programs. Princess Valara established the first Cytherian technical school that accepted students based on ability rather than social status. Human and Cytherian engineers began regular exchanges, sharing knowledge and perspectives. But more than the technical achievements, something fundamental had changed in how the two species viewed each other. Instead of seeing only enemies or allies, they began to see individuals worthy of respect and consideration. Hyunwoo continued to work on joint projects, traveling regularly between human and Cytherian worlds. On one such trip, he visited the capital of the Cytherian Empire and saw Princess Valara in her natural environment for the first time. She was in a workshop, wearing practical work clothes instead of royal robes, teaching a mixed group of human and Cytherian engineers about biometal cultivation techniques. She looked up when he entered and smiled, the same genuine smile he remembered from their first conversations in her prison cell. "Hyunwoo," she called out. "Perfect timing. We were just discussing thermal regulation improvements. Your perspective would be valuable." As he joined the group, Hyunwoo realized something important. The question she had asked him while he repaired her armor, "Why do you treat me like I matter?" had been answered not just with words but with actions that rippled outward to change 2 entire civilizations. She had learned that she mattered as a person, and now she was teaching others the same lesson. One conversation, one project, one moment of genuine respect at a time. After the workshop ended, they walked together through the capital city. Hyunwoo saw Cytherians and humans working side by side, sharing meals, discussing technical problems, laughing together. What had begun as a simple act of fixing broken armor had grown into something neither of them could have imagined. "Are you happy?" Hyunwoo asked as they paused at a viewing platform overlooking the city. "For the first time in my life, I am not just what others expect me to be," Princess Valara replied. "I am who I choose to be. Yes, I am happy." "Good," Hyunwoo said. "You deserve to be happy." "We all do," she replied, watching humans and Cytherians work together in the streets below. "That may be the most important thing you taught me. Not just that I matter, but that everyone matters. And when we treat people like they matter, amazing things become possible." As the sun set over the Cytherian capital, 2 friends from different worlds stood together, having learned that the simple act of treating others with dignity and respect could indeed change everything.